This week on Marketplace, price wars. Higher or lower in Canada?
Canada versus the United States.
They are $10.47.
$17.97.
We're shopping on both sides of the border to reveal where you can save big bucks.
I'm afraid we're being gouged.
And we go undercover, shopping for a new car. The real reason you're paying thousands more than Americans.
So are they using scare tactics?
That's exactly what it is.
The cost of being Canadian.
I'm on a road trip heading south from Vancouver to Bellingham, Washington to do a little price comparison.
I'm on a shopping trip too, but staying close to home in Toronto.
You're telling us you're fed up with the price gap between Canada and the US, sending email after email. Thing is, Canadians want to spend their money at home, but end up spending billions in the US.
But why are we paying more, especially when our dollar is worth about the same as theirs? Erica and I are about to test how much it's costing us. Dueling shoppers, competing for the best deals at some of the largest retailers that operate in both countries: Target, Walmart, and Home Depot.
Hey there, Tom.
Hey Eric, how you doing?
Well, I'm here in Bellingham, and I gotta say, I got a good feeling. I think the prices down here are gonna be a lot lower than they are in Canada.
Are you kidding me? I'll bring that on. I'm ready for that game, girl.
Well, we'll see who wins this price war.
We'll be in touch throughout the day using our smartphones for some price checking and chatting on items like toys, health and beauty products, electronics, and home fixtures.
But first, we've pulled together a crowd at the CBC in Toronto. They'll play our pricing game, higher or lower. And they know it's a game Canadians don't win very much.
It doesn't feel right at all. Just, feel like we're getting ripped off.
Anybody like shopping? We're going on a shopping trip in Canada and the US, and we're going to look at different kinds of products and compare prices. First of all, how about a show of hands? How many people think this item will be higher priced in Canada? Pretty overwhelming.
Higher in Canada? Let's go shopping and see if they're right. My first Target in Bellingham? Well, Target, or Target. It's well known for its low prices in the US, and it's made quite an entrance in the Canadian market, too.
Their motto? Expect more, pay less. So what can we expect in the toy department?
I'm looking at the triple track twister track set.
Say that fast 3 times, Tom.
You say it 3 times fast.
Okay, let me take a look. Okay, how much?
$49.99.
$49.99. Okay, this present here, $32.49.
This toy is on sale in both countries, but costs 48% more in Canada. In case you're wondering, even at regular price, we're still losing.
So, what'll we find when we check out Target's health and beauty products? We've heard that's another category where the price gap can be ugly.
Hair care's next.
We find a popular brand and suss out the price.
Okay, enough with the puns. Even with the exchange rate that day, Canadians are paying an extra 21% for sleek and shiny hair. So it's true, there's a big gap in price when it comes to beauty items like this conditioner.
We asked Target to explain the price gaps we're seeing. They tell us there are a variety of factors that result in a price differential: higher fuel costs, higher labor costs, bilingual packaging.
Before we leave Target, we hit the electronics department. We've heard electronics is one category where consumer pressure on the manufacturers forced them to match their US prices with ours. I check out a PlayStation 12-gig console.
$199.99. $200 for that. Wonder how much that is in Bellingham.
How about that? The same price. And when you factor in the exchange rate, we're paying about 4% less in Canada. So for once, Canadian shoppers can put one under the win column.
Bottom line is, though, we're on the losing end of most price wars. To explain why, we bring in someone with the inside scoop. Doug Stevens spent 15 years as a retail executive and is now a marketing and branding consultant.
We hear a lot that doing business here is more expensive. It's distribution, it's wages, taxes, but Does that justify these big differences?
Is it justified? No. Is it country pricing?
What's that, you ask? Simply put, country pricing is an unwritten rule among retailers. Charge Canadians more because they always have, and we always pay, without a fuss.
Are Canadians simply being charged more because we are in Canada, because it's a smaller marketplace? That's really the core problem.
How do they get away with it?
We as consumers accept it, and we as consumers don't put enough pressure back on the retailers that are selling us these things to say, we're not going to stand for that.
Back at our CBC pricing game, we reveal what we found so far on our shopping trip. How do you feel about the fact that something as simple as a toy set costs so much more here?
Well, it's a huge difference, and I guess like a lot of people want to go to the USA now because you can get like stuff for cheaper.
I've been finding cheaper stuff in Bellingham so far, but will I do more saving at our next stop? Home Depot.
These days, more and more people are do-it-yourselfers, looking for deals on home fixtures. So we go looking for some deals too.
Okay, I'm in the toilet department.
I guess we call this the Super Bowl, but okay, so it's the Kohler Santa Rosa.
I found it.
So what price do you have of that one?
Okay, so down here the price is $2.98.
Here, $3.77.
$3.77?
Yeah. And you know what, Erica, this is actually on sale. The regular price is $4.19.
That's right. Canadians are seeing 21% more money going down the drain for the very same item.
We ask Home Depot to explain the price gap we've seen. They say, we work hard to be the value leader in the Canadian home improvement market, and we adjust retail pricing to reflect that position. We will be reviewing the pricing on these products.
Well, how about that? Home Depot is going to do a price check on all the products we compared between Bellingham and Toronto.
The third chain we're hitting is the biggest of them all. I head into a Toronto Walmart, and Erica reports in from Bellingham.
So hey, Tom, we've been doing so much walking today, I picked up something I thought you might want to use. These little sole inserts with gel in them so they feel really good under the feet.
I bet.
And not a bad price. They are $10.47 in Bellingham.
Here are mine right here.
Okay, that's the same one. How much?
And they are $17.97.
$17.97? That's a lot of money.
Yep, that's a 65% step up in the Canadian price. Not so comforting after all.
Next on our list at Walmart, we're going big.
I'm looking at the Samsung 60-inch LED TV. Every man cave's dream.
All right, I checked that out too.
Okay, what did you come up with?
That TV is $9.98. What is it in Toronto?
$12.98.
$12.98?
Yeah, $300 difference.
These TVs recently had their prices adjusted in both countries. Still, if you want to go big screen in Canada, you're going to have to fork over big green, 25% more. We've seen some drastic price differences at Walmart so far, but I've got a home advantage now with our next product.
Hall's Cough Drops. You know them, right? But did you know this? Check out the bag. Whether tropical fruit or honey lemon, they're made in Canada.
I'm looking at Hall's Made in Canada cough drops. Beautiful, $2.87. And you?
So what do you want to wager? Is your price going to be better than mine or worse?
It has to be better. They're Canadian for crying out loud.
Well, you would think, but for this package of cough drops, Tom, it's $1.47.
Oh, come on. That's like half price almost. For the folks at our CBC pricing game, hard to swallow. Here's the US price. $1.47. Wow, okay. Same bag in Canada. And it's made in Canada. What do you make of that?
I'm not quite sure why such a big price difference for a product that's made in Canada.
How can Canadians be paying more than Americans for something made in Canada? We asked Walmart to explain the price differences, particularly why Hall's cough drops are 88% more expensive in Canada, even though they're made right here.
In a statement, they tell us price differences between retailers in Canada and the U.S. are not acceptable and need to be addressed. We are working extremely hard with our suppliers to negotiate the best possible deals for our customers.
So we asked the makers of Hall's, and they say, a multitude of factors all working together can influence price. It is not just limited to one factor. Ultimately, the retailer sets the final price of any product it offers to consumers. So retailers blame manufacturers, manufacturers blame retailers.
You could point the finger in a lot of directions. Everyone at the end of the day is going to try and make the money that they're making.
So, what's a Canadian shopper to do in this price war? Retail insider Doug Stevens has a strategy.
Don't be afraid to pull out your mobile device and see what that product is available at on the open market. See if you're being gouged, And if you are, then take whatever measures you need to take to push back on the retailer that's doing it.
So, how do we do on our shop-a-thon? When we tally up our receipts, I've saved more than $400. That's plenty of gas money because now we're about to go shopping for a new car. And you won't believe what we find.
Cannot sell you a brand new car.
Excuse me?
Cannot sell you a brand new car in Canada.
So I'm going to stand about here.
We're gearing up with hidden cameras, still in the States as our cross-border shop continues.
A nice clear picture.
This time we'll be checking out the second most expensive purchase most of us will ever make, a new car.
Did you see the ones in the back yet?
We're testing in 2 American cities just across the border, Bellingham in Washington State and Buffalo, New York, to see what kind of deals we can get compared to Canadian prices. And we're not the only ones shopping around. In Vancouver, Caitlin Main's looking too. Why is she in the market for a new car?
That does not look good.
No.
Because this used to be Caitlin's dream car. She loved every part of it. The style, the color, even the built-in vase.
Did you have a name for it?
Yeah, it was Daisy, but looks more like a lemon it seems now.
That's because a few months after buying it,
It was running fine for a while, and now the engine is shot.
That's it, kaput.
That's it.
So
Totally,
it can't
yeah.
drive anywhere?
Nope, gotta be pushed if you would like to move it.
this time round, Caitlin's thinking a new car would mean fewer headaches.
It's definitely appealing.
Have you ever owned a new car before?
No, for sure not. So obviously there's the factor of how nice it is, but just like the reliability at this point is would be nice.
According to Steve Rogers, if Caitlin wants a deal on a new car, she might want to check out the prices south of the border.
You must be Steve.
I am.
I'm Erica.
Hi, Erica.
It's quite the ride you've got.
Rogers' specialty is finding cars cheaper in the United States and bringing them back to Canada.
I bought one for my wife. The car was $60,000 in Canada, and I paid $40,000 in the US.
For the same car.
The exact same car.
We do a little checking online ourselves and find lots of great deals too, even after we factor in the exchange rate. The manufacturer's price for a Subaru Legacy, $23,495 in Canada. Same vehicle just across the border, $2,000 less. Then there's the Honda CR-V. It's made in Canada, so it must be cheaper here, right? Turns out it's about $3,000 less in the States. Same goes for the Dodge Grand Caravan. It's also made in Canada, but sells for $7,000 less in the US.
You know, I have a hard time with the fact that I'm paying more as a Canadian just because of where I live.
And sure enough, even the new Beetle Caitlin would like is cheaper.
Here is a brand new 2014 Beetle. In Canada, that car is $24,000 and change.
Right.
But in Bellingham, about an hour's drive
Yeah.
from here in the States, that exact same car is $3,000 cheaper.
Really?
Have you ever thought about going to the States to buy a new car?
It had never occurred to me, even though obviously it occurs to me for other stuff.
To see if Caitlin really could save a bundle, we ask around at those American dealerships. First stop, the Honda dealership in both cities, looking for that CR-V made in Canada, about $3,000 cheaper here. But what do we hear?
Honda does not, and it's not us, Honda does not let us sell new cars to Canadian residents.
Won't sell to Canadians? And when we test the Toyota dealerships,
Cannot sell you a brand new car.
Excuse me?
Cannot sell you a brand new car in Canada.
strike two. The rejection continues at Chevrolet.
Unfortunately, I can't sell you a new car down here.
In Buffalo and Bellingham, we hear the same thing at dealer after dealer.
Wow.
What do you think about that they will not sell to Canadians?
Yeah, after I just heard about this awesome deal, now it's snatched away from me just as fast.
Does that sound fair?
Not at all.
Not fair, but not new to Giorgini. He's the head of the Automobile Protection Association, and hears a lot about car companies giving Canadians the cold shoulder.
To Canadians, it's galling when a car made in Ontario costs more here than in the United States.
We show Eni this memo we get our hands on from a car manufacturer a few years ago. It strongly discourages American dealers from selling to Canadians. Says if they do, they'll no longer be eligible for program payouts or bonuses.
What do you think of a memo like this?
It's very heavy-handed.
And evidence, he says, that car giants north and south of the border are working together to keep Canadians from buying some cars at cheaper prices.
If we are going for free trade for the car makers, then it should to some degree be free, equally free for the consumer.
Under orders not to sell to us, but dealers in our test give us all kinds of other reasons for why that's the case. So we put him to our expert, Steve Rogers. Starting with the dealer who tells us reason number one, it's the law.
And they maintain that for whatever international tariff laws or transaction laws that U.S. citizens can only buy in the U.S., Canadian citizens only in Canada.
Okay, whatever. There's no such thing as a Canadian law to prevent a car from crossing.
How about reason number two? You have to live in America.
If you have a residency in the USA or something like that, you can buy the car.
I don't see how that comes into play with buying a car at all.
Or maybe the problem is reason number three. The warranty isn't valid in Canada.
So you could not sell me a new Santa Fe? You wouldn't have a warranty?
Some manufacturers do not honor the warranty in Canada, but very few.
But you'd hate to be the one that doesn't have the warranty.
True.
As we search for the reason Canadians are turned away at dealerships, only a handful give us the straight goods. Reason number four, the car companies make us do it.
What they're afraid of, everybody from Canada would just come here and buy your cars, take them back home.
And to make sure prices stay high in Canada, U.S. dealers who sell to Canadians tell us they can't. Or, reason number five, we'll lose our franchise.
If Honda finds out that's what happens, potentially we could lose the dealership.
Yep, it's a system that shuts Canadians out of thousands in savings.
It's strictly just a fictitious line that prevents us from driving across. Why is there this huge discrepancy in cost?
It's not impossible to buy a new car in the United States, but some car companies sure make it difficult, even for a pro like Steve.
It's absolutely a battle.
Every single time?
Every single time.
And you're the expert.
One of the few exceptions to the rule, Ford. They'll sell a car to Canadians no problem, but you have to pay up front. So why are we paying more for cars than our American cousins? No one wants to talk about it, not the feds, and not the car companies we asked. Canadians shut out of cheaper deals in the States just doesn't make sense to Caitlin.
That's crazy. It seems like that's always happening in Canada. Prices are jacked up all the time.
For her, the car company capers just mean one thing.
I think I'll be hopping the bus again.
How much do you like that?
Especially at this time of year, not so much.